Good day, one and all, and welcome to my channel. I am Kathy, the Scrap and Crafty Gardener, and today I was playing around with some scraps of paper. Last night my friends and I made some Easter cards, and I had some scraps of bright pink, yellow, and blue that we had left over from when we made all the cuts we needed for the cards and the card panels. So I made this birthday card today using those scraps that I embossed. And I want to do the same idea of using up my scraps, but this time I want to make a sympathy card. So I'm going to be using some grays and blacks that I had picked up from my bin over there. And I'm going to be using this die cut flower. It's got 5 pieces. I honestly don't remember where they came from. I did not mark that on my paper. They kind of remind me of Spellbinders, but not quite. And we're also going to using, I am going to be using the Spellbinders Lemon Zest. That looks like that. And I'm just going to be using the greenery from there to cut out images. I'm also going to use this Doris embossing folder. Let's see if I can put something on the back so you can see the pattern. It doesn't have a name on it, and it is so old I honestly don't remember what the name is, but it's kind of a paisley-like pattern, but not quite. Also going to be using a 5x7 card that measures 10 inches by 7 inches, and I scored it at the 5-inch line, folded it in half, increased it with my bone folder. Now the only solid layer of this paper today is going to be white, and it is 4.5 inches by 6.5 inches, and that'll go on there. And then I'm just going to be using the scraps of the gray and the blacks. And I picked up some pearls. I'm not quite sure which ones I'm going to use yet. I have some gray silvery pearls here. I didn't have any black pearls, so I tried using my alcohol inks to color one, and it worked perfect. For that I used the Spectrum Noir in the true black color, and it actually worked well. So if I want to make them black, I have that aside here so that I can change more of them into black if I want. But we'll see as the process goes on. I'm also going to be using this with Sympathy die cut. I don't remember where I got that from either. It probably was from Amazon, knowing me. And then the color inks we're going to be using today are the GinaK designs. I'm going to be using Jelly Bean Green, Fresh Asparagus, and this is a new one I just got, Lucky Clover. I haven't had a chance to put the name on the front. Also going to be using the Ranger Perfect Pearls. And it's a white iridescent. It doesn't have a color name on it. And then just some thin foam pop-up dots. I have these Zots. They're very, very thin glue dots. And I'm going to be using those along with some double-sided tape and a water brush, because we're going to play with colors today. All right, so let me sit down here and we're going to get started. You can put the embossing folder aside and the card front. And we're just going to use this. Now I'm going to take my strips. I'm going to take my biggest piece of black and then do some grays. Let's see, we got some thin strips. And these are just random sizes, and I'm going to be placing here to see if I like the effect. And we have a couple different color grays here. No, I think we're going to do a thin line there, yeah. So I'll get another, and these could be any colors, any size strips, use what you have. That one has a little fuzzy on it, so I'm just going to get out my nail file and just kind of swipe it back and forth, and that takes off the fuzzy strips. I think my cutter needs a new blade, and some of the textured cardstock, it tends to fray on more than anything else. Now another black strip. They're not even the same size, but so that's okay. Then I don't have any more of that color. Oh, yes, I do. No, we're going to change this out. So we'll change this out for the bigger one. And then put a light black strip on the edges there. Okay, that's how I'm going to glue them down now. And this is going to be a sticky mess, and I'm going to have to clean my mat off when I'm done. But just kind of glue them the length you think your card is. And glue it down. And I'll take the next stripe that I want on there. And I want to place it there. You could do this in multiple color stripes, like I did with the Easter card that I made this morning. It doesn't have to be same colors, the same size strips, as you can see. Let's see, this side looks better. And I'll put that one up a little bit. And then when I do these strips, I'll try and place them to the same distance. And that one, I don't need that whole piece. So there's another strip I can use for another project. And glue that down right there. Okay, here goes. See if I can make both sides look fairly even. That looks good. This black piece. Then this gray piece. I think my spacing is a little off, but that's okay. In fact, I'm going to save this larger strip and just put the small strip down here. Excuse me. Okay, I'm just going to press this down for a minute. Where did I put my, there it is. It's my old stamping platform. I keep thinking I want to Mod Podge it because this thing looks terrible, cover it up, but then I like being able to see through it also. So I might have to invest in a new one that's not all chipped and scratched. Now comes the fun part. Clean up my mat here. I use just a little bit of window cleaner to get the glue off. And my only rag today, unfortunately, is a really stained white one. There we go. Now we get to cut these off. So I'll take my scissors. They stick to my scissors. I'll clean my scissors when I'm done too, so the glue doesn't stick to them. See, there's a little piece over here that I need to trim a little bit better. There, and that's how that looks. Clean up these scraps now. Now these scraps I will get rid of since they're all glued again. I suppose you could save them if you wanted another project right off to the side. And I'm just gonna clean the glue I got on here now. Okay, now I'm going to run this through my Cuttlebug. And I brought my Cuttlebug over here today just to kind of show you. I do have the Spellbinders Platinum with both platforms. But honestly, for things like this, I much prefer this. I'm on the waiting list for GinaK's intricate cutting machine, because then I don't have to figure out sandwiches. But this one has worked well for me for, I want to say, 11 years or more that I've had it. And I'm going to run it through twice. that up. We're done with that. I also like that because it's the smaller machine and it's easier to handle. Okay, got a little glue there, which will dry. And that's how that looks. I love how the embossing makes it look like one solid piece of paper instead of little individual stripes. Okay, now I had this one big piece of gray paper. Where did I put that at? Hello, Mr. Gray paper. And a big old scrap of gray. Well, let me put you on pause for a minute while I find that big gray scrap. Question was always look under your feet because that's where it will be. Now this one, even though it has some discoloration on it, it's going to work just fine because we're going to cover it up. This is going to get in the corner and I'm going to glue that down. I was hoping the furnace wouldn't come on as much today because the weather's nicer. It was only 24 degrees this morning, but we're supposed to get up in the 50s this afternoon, so that's good. And all more glue. And now we're also going to glue this panel down. And this I want to kind of center in the middle here. Just like that. And we'll put the stamping platform back on there and let that sit for a moment. Now, I did cut out earlier the flowers and the greenery, and I also did the with sympathy, which will go on there. I'm going to get a scratch piece of copy paper. I had been given some copy paper from a friend, and it had gotten water damage on it, so it won't run through my printer anymore, but it works perfectly for using for the waste scraps. Now I'm going to color the greenery, and I'm going to start with the jelly bean green and my blending brush. Just do a light coloring of the jelly bean green, ever so light. I suppose I could have even done this in gray, but I think the little bit of color that the green adds will add something to the card. Now I'm going to go a little bit darker with the fresh asparagus, just on like the top edges, just to give it a little added shading. And I'm going to darken the stem. Now, to make it a little brighter, I'm going to add in my new color, Lucky Clover. And I'm going to scrape that off. And I'm just putting that in the center because it adds just a little highlight pop of bright green. And that's done. Now, we're going to get out our water brush and our perfect pearls. I'll move this off to the side so you can see what I'm doing here. And we're going to paint the perfect pearls onto these flower stems. There's another scrap. Put my glue away temporarily here. All right, I'm just going to take a little bit of the perfect pearls, just a smidge, and tap it onto my glass mat. Or if you had a silicone mat, that would be perfect. Now, my spray bottle of water. Just spray that on. Even though I'm using a water brush, I like to get this mixed up. And we're just going to paint every single petal with the perfect pearls. Just as easy as this. And that one's done. We'll go on to the next one. And I see my scrap paper is going to be nice and shiny too because I got it into the ink. As I said, I guess my channel should be called Kathy the Messy Crafter. But it's my process and I have a lot of fun doing this. All right, so you might be hearing my cats meow from upstairs. They're not fond of me coming down here all day in the mornings. My cat Pumpkin does like to come down with me when I'm just generally crafting. However, he likes to jump up on the table, especially when I'm using glues or inks. And with his long orange fur, he could end up a royal mess by the time I'm done. And he always seems to know when I am working with taping something down or gluing something down, because that's when he wants to be right up here on the desk. My other cats will come down, they'll wander around the floor and investigate all the shelves, and then they want to go right back upstairs. Except for little Miss Bridget. She's never been down here. Hasn't ever been interested in that. Okay, those are colored. Whoop. As I said, Kathy the Messy Crafter. Now, I'll just get my rag again. Wipe up this. Give a good scrub to the table later on. Now I'm going to get out my heat tool just for a moment. I'm also going to use my tweezers to kind of help pull these flowers down. Just to set the wetness a little bit. Once I've used the water with the perfect curls, it doesn't really need to be heat set, but it does need to be dry or you're going to have pearl all over your fingers. And the heat also, as you can tell, as it's drying, it tends to curl the leaves up a little bit. And that's what I'm going for. As they blow all over the desk. If I used watercolor paper, it wouldn't do that. But I'm wanting this lifted up. It doesn't want to be on the project. Oh, come on. There we go. Watercolor paper wouldn't curl up quite as much, but I want it to have a little bit of curl to it. Now we'll take our card base back and take these off. And I'm going to see where I want to place everything now. These are going to get stacked together. I want to see where I want to place it with the With Sympathy down here. All right, now the With Sympathy, I'm going to get my black Winkostella. Hold on. Knew I forgot something. Okay, with my black Winkostella, I'm going to go over the black. And it'll just add a little bit of shine and sparkle that all my colors need without being in your face obvious, which is not what you would want for a sympathy card. And I'm just scribbling it on. And that just gives a little bit of a, oops, I see I forgot to center the S there. A little bit of sparkle. And that I'm gonna glue down there. But nope, you know what, it's not gonna show up very well. So I might have to put that on a background. Well, let's look and see. Let's get my leaf down first. And for the leaf, I'm going to use my art glitter glue today, just on the stem. And then I'm going to use these pop-up dots on the leaves, because I want the stem to lie flat, but the leaves to be popped up ever so slightly to give it a little dimension. I love this floral stem from the Lemon Zest collection. It's just so nice. Maybe I'll move that up a little bit right there. And then you see that lifts up the leaves, but the stem stays down. Now we're gonna pop this on the card, and this one's gonna go down flat. So I'll use my art glitter glue again, but I'm not putting it on the very edge. As you can see, I'm just putting it on the center, but leaving the tips open. And we're gonna glue that down like there. Now for the next layer, I'm going to take another one of these pop-up dots. And this time I want one on each leaf, because this leaf is going to stick up a little bit more than the other ones. It's unfortunate that we need a lot more sympathy cards than we do anything else as we get older. Now this one's going to be flat, and this is where I'm using my Zots, or glue dots. This brand is just happens to be the Zot brand. And I'm just putting it on the very center. I love these Zots. I get these at I think they have them on Amazon, but I get them at the rubber stamp convention that I go to every year in April. It's Adventures in Stamping. All right, there we go. Now is when I'm going to decide if I want to use a gray pearl or a black pearl or a white pearl. And that would be gray, and that would be the black. Let's see what it looks like with the black. If it doesn't look good, I'll take it up and put the gray down. And since I colored this earlier with the alcohol ink, it is dry. Oh yeah, I like the black pearl on it. Now with sympathy, I kind of think I need to do this in white. So let me grab a scrap of white paper and we'll cut that out again with my we'll just bring my Cuttlebug back out and do it in white and see how that looks. And I may need to add a little bit of perfect pearls to it to make it stand up a little bit better. Okay, get my Cuttlebug back out. Now this time I'm adding my magic, it's not the magic mat, it's a magnetic cutting mat that was made for the Cuttlebug. So I will put a base plate, a cutting plate, base plate, magnet plate, cutting plate, scrap paper. Let's see if I can get this way. Yeah, and some white. But I want to turn that sideways. But just like that. And here we go. Take that off. Cuttlebug away again. Now, if you get a delicate die cut and it doesn't want to come all the way out, get that here. Just get yourself a piece of scrap foam and your tweezers and push down. That'll take out the centers, any little pieces that didn't cut through all the way. Trying to do this so that you can see without my hands being in the way. There we go. Just like that. Now I think I might just take the two and glue them together What did I do with the black one now? Let me pause you again since the furnace just came on really loud. And since I was offline, I glued the black and the white ones together, and then I did go ahead and add the perfect pearls to the with Sympathy Saying. And I think I want to place it on the card right about there. So I'm going to glue that down using my art glitter glue. Over and place that right there. And I have a smaller stamp block that I'm gonna put down just to hold that on. Now the card is pretty much done. I'm thinking I want to put some gray pearls or maybe even white pearls. It needs just a little something more, but not a whole lot more. Let's see. I know it needs something over in this corner. I'm thinking one there. One here. And a small one right there on the white. I know everyone's probably going, no, too many on. That's 3. I think I'm going to stop right there. And that's how that card came out for today. I love the pearlescent glitter to the flower. Just enough color to offset the gray and the white. And if anyone out there knows what this Doris embossing folder is called, I will put the name on it and list it below. I'll try and look online, but what I did earlier, I couldn't find it, and it is older. Now that is it. I thank you. I'll show you the other one, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Have fun, experiment, play with different techniques, use up your scraps, and just have fun. Good night, all.